I'm pretty curious. What do you want to talk today about?
Yeah, I have a subject. I was in the holiday and I'm starting to investing. First of all, I want to understand what I
Yes,
will invest, and
yeah,
I'm doing the top-down analysis. From the
yes.
macro point of view, then the sector analysis, then you have the fundamental and other things. And I did the macroeconomic point of view, and then I finished like 3 or 4 days ago the sector analysis for an industry in healthcare.
Now that's a surprise because
Mhm.
there's a lot of people doing trading right now, and I don't think they do those type of analysis that you're doing.
Uh, well, I don't actually I cannot explain you why, because I'm at the very beginning, so I don't know what's exactly a day trading do. But I saw a video that of Ray Dalio that
Yes,
he said to be a good investor, you can just invest and be lucky. To
mm-hmm.
be a great investor, you need to understand in what you invest,
Exactly,
even if no one knows the future. But at least you
exactly,
knew in what you invested. So
exactly.
it's like I can identify myself with like the long-term investment, and I
Yeah,
think for the long-term investment, you need to do an analysis for yourself. In this case, a top-down analysis.
exactly. It's like you can go to the casino or go to the stock market. You have fun. Sometimes you
Exactly.
win, sometimes you lose, you know. But if you really want to make that your life, your profession, you really need to have very strong analysis, you
Hmm.
know. And like we always say, the analysis is not asking my friend, what do you think? Because that's not an analysis. An analysis is when you do all the steps yourself, and then when the market is not responding, you can either take that new information to change your position or understand, oh, it's just noise, I can wait,
Hmm.
because you understand what's going on now.
And it's like, even if you will have in those, maybe let's assume you will invest for a long term of 5 years,
5 years, yes.
for example, and in those 5 years you can have a bearish market. But if
Yes,
you know exactly the trends of this sector that you analyzed, you can
exactly.
be, of course there's always a question mark, because
Yes,
nobody knows the futures. But
yes,
at least you know that what the people needs, and
yes.
this sector can help, or this company, then so it's like you know what you did.
Exactly. And also, if you did your analysis and you're in a bearish market, you're happy because you're buying more. Of
Mhm.
course, you're not happy if you were already in it, you know. But
Exactly.
if you were not in it, but if you did your macro well, and and the bear market gets you by surprise, even then you could have probably um, prepare yourself for that bear market by having more cash in
Hmm.
your portfolio. It's like even if you say I like a sector because I know that sector even in bear market they do well, uh, but because you knew, because of the macro, that the probability of a bear market, we're talking about the market going
Going
down
down.
more than 20%.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
a bear market. Anything between 0 and 20% is just a correction. You're still in the bull market. So a bear market is when market goes down between 20 to 80%.
That's a
That's a
bear
bear
market.
market. That's a
Okay.
bear market. Okay. If
And
you
from
just had
0 to 20, that's just a consolidation, like a correction, you said.
exactly within the
The
for
uptrend.
stocks, yes,
Hmm.
for stocks.
Hmm.
For commodity is different. Okay.
Okay.
Commodity in an uptrend can have 50% retracement
Hmm.
and you're still in the bull market.
Okay.
Okay. Commodity is different because they have a different type of behavior. They're less mean. They call it, stocks usually are mean reversal. That means because of, you can calculate cash flow and you can calculate yield, which is how much profit. So stock tend to be mean reversal. That means you have kind of an analysis of a direction, a trend, and a mean based on the returns, and then it can fluctuate too much from one side, too much from the other side, and those are the correction you get. But in commodities, commodities are not that much mean reversal. Commodities in general tend to be more momentum or momentum driven. So that means they're more trendy, than stocks in general. When they're macro structure, they're more trendy. So because of that, you can have a trend over accelerate and then a retracement of 50% and you're still in the bull market.
Still in the bull market, okay.
You understand?
Yes.
But with stocks, the moment you're below 20%, it's a bear market. Okay.
Okay.
So we're talking about stocks. So if a, for example, if an index, and we're talking about index, because if you take one stock, the stock can go down 50% and you're still in the bull market. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
If I'm talking about the S&P 500, so the S&P 500, the correction is between 0 and 20, between 20 and 80%, it is a bear market. But if I take one stock, let's say I take one company, Zoom, for example. Well, Zoom can go up 5 times and then go down 50%, and I'm still in a bull market because it's one stock.
Okay, so it's like also
more volatility.
More volatility. Okay. Okay, and in an index, it's more compact together, so you have other companies.
Exactly. So when we're talking about we had a bear market, we're talking about an index like the S&P 500 going down more than 20%.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if you did,
sorry,
go ahead.
For a company, how much percent more or less can we say that, or?
I don't know, because that's why when you're investing at the company level, you really need to analyze, you really, really need to analyze, because you may have a company going down 30, 40% and the index is still going up. That means it's something that's happening with that specific company or something that's happening in the sector. So if you're going to invest in one stock, you really need to understand what's going on in the sector and what's going on in the company. So when you have those divergence, which is the stock market is not in a bear market and the sector is going down and the stock is going down, so your analysis will tell you if you need to buy more or if you need to get out. Because if you didn't do your analysis at that moment, you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
But if you're just going to invest in the S&P 500, I think you need less analysis. It's not that you don't need analysis, but you need
less.
A lot less.
Okay.
A lot less. I would say if you're going to invest in the S&P 500, you need 10% the analysis you need than if you're going to invest in Zoom. If you're going to invest in
for
Zoom,
a specific company,
you need to do 10 times more work.
Okay. Can I ask you what you actually do, or what do you prefer?
I usually more index kind.
Okay. Okay.
It's for a specific company. Usually, it's either something I'm doing or a tech startup.
Yeah.
Because it's something specific that's going to disrupt a sector. So that's when, for me, the analysis is worth the gain. Because if you're right about it, you're going to be right a big time. Because when you come with a company and because of the tech and the business model, you can disrupt a whole sector or create a new market that didn't exist. You're talking about, if you're successful, if you're right, it's at least 200 times your money. If you're right about that part.
Okay.
So you do something the same in the market. If you're successful, in 10 years, you may have a 10x or maybe a 15x, 20x. But if you do that on a startup, we're talking 200x.
Okay.
And it's the same level of course. You need to really go deep into the sector analysis and to the company, the management, the product, and all those things. But when you finish doing that, you're talking at least 200 times your money if you're right. While in the market, if you do that at a company level, maybe you get a 10x now, which is big money, but and more liquidity. There's other factors, liquidity and things like that. So that's why I prefer to do, you know what, I just go for the index. And if you need more return, you can always use leverage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You can always
borrowing money from your broker.
Yeah, you can always use some derivative or something that once you finish that analysis, you have other ways to make that bet worthwhile for you.
Okay.
But at analysis level, you don't need to go that deep. You can still play it different ways. But each person will know what
to do.
With time. Yeah, with time, that's what I end up usually doing. It's like if I'm going in market, it's usually more index. And if I go at the company level, it's usually some startup or some new technology or discovery or new business model. It doesn't really have to be only a new technological product. You can have like a new business model that's going to disrupt or create a new. Yeah.
Okay. And
so this is to say that you need to do analysis if you're taking this seriously, because your analysis in the end is why you make money, because you know something that people haven't connected the dots.
That's exactly, and that's the thing. Actually, I'm trying. I mean, I started, and maybe I missed some points, or maybe I'm at the beginning. But after the sector analysis, I still don't have like a clear point of view. I really don't know.
So you had a macro view. You had a macro view.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the sector analysis, and I read some.
You want to talk about the macro view, or you want to talk about the sector?
About the sector.
Okay. So which sector were you looking at?
Healthcare.
Okay. Why are you looking at healthcare?
Well, actually, in healthcare, you have, for example, right now a lot of technologies for the future. I mean, you have people that may or that have a younger age that don't want to go to the doctor directly, and they want to have maybe a consultation by phone. And with the COVID and everything, I think that a lot of things are going to change. And healthcare, at least all the people, I mean, the new generation want to live a healthier life.
Yes.
And I think healthcare would be also a very important point for the people to don't just go to a doctor when they need, but maybe just going to a doctor or having a consultation for their health, even if they are healthy, but they want to be more healthy. And maybe they want to, for example, biotechnology, they don't want to use like chemicals, I don't know how to say, medicine, but more like a, how can I say, biological medicine to use for their self. And that's why I think healthcare could.
What do you mean biological medicine? What do you mean by that?
Without using chemical stuff.
More like organic drugs.
Exactly, organic drugs, exactly. And that's why I think the younger generation understand more. Not because the older generation is stupid, but I think, with social media and all those stuff, you have more information. Maybe you have bad, but I think you have a clear view, even for the younger generation.
Okay, so what you're saying is you think healthcare is going to grow.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years? And what are the big trends? So one trend you said is a more, I'm just repeating what I heard. Maybe that's not what you said, but that's what I heard, is a more educated population.
Exactly. AI.
In developed countries, no? So in developed countries, you're saying that people are not just going to the doctor when something is wrong. You think they're going to start going to doctors so they can stay healthy before something gets wrong.
Exactly. I have a prevention. Exactly.
So you think this is going to be a big trend to grow the healthcare sector. What else?
5G, the technology, for example.
Why?
For example, I don't know. I make just a stupid example. I have something with I have a disease with my heart, or with diabetes, for example.
Yes.
And I know that a good doctor lives in San Francisco.
Yes.
He has a very good reputation. But I live in Switzerland, and
Yes.
I have the pandemic right now, so I do
Yes.
not have actually the possibility to fly over to US.
Yes.
So what can I do? I can just book a consultation.
Yeah.
An application, for example, and with the 5G, with all those data, healthcare from the consumer, from me as a patient, I can send him all my stuff, and we can have a consultation by phone, and he can tell me what I should do. If
Wait, but why? If it's by phone, why is the 5G relevant?
Well, because actually you can, with the 5G, you are able to send some data. I mean, I read something in the outlook of a sector analysis, and it's like you can send some data, healthcare of your thing. I mean, for example, I don't know, like measuring on yourself something. I don't know how to explain that. I mean, for example, Apple, they have like they can measure your heart.
Yes.
And you can do those stuff with the 5G, with the technology of 5G.
So definitely need to dig deeper in what 5G will enable. Because
Exactly.
I do agree that 5G is gonna be a game changer for health. But I think it would make sense to dig
Go
deeper.
deeper, yes, exactly.
Because I think it's way beyond what you just said, what 5G would enable to do.
Exactly.
It's more like you're in Zurich and the doctor is in San Francisco, and the doctor in San Francisco will be able to do an operation on you in Zurich.
Okay.
Because you will be laying on a table with robots, and the doctor in San Francisco will be moving his hand, and the robot will be replicating what the doctor is doing while he's looking at the screen and doing the operation.
Okay. So go. Okay.
This is pretty
That's the
big.
5G.
Yeah, because 5G literally, supposedly, it's not. One really needs to see how much is hype, how much is real. And as you know, if there's 5G, there's going to be 6G and 7G. No, but the thing is, supposedly from 5G, there's literally no latency between being able to operate, to move a machine across the world in real time.
Okay.
So yes. 5G is not only from a medical, even from a manufacturing. Okay, you could have a manufacturing plant in Iowa, USA. Okay, and then you have the people working at that plant in Vietnam. So you pay exactly. So they're operating from Vietnam, paying Vietnam salaries, but you're producing in the United States. The plant is in the United States. So the machine is being operated by that crew who's in Vietnam. So instead of producing in Vietnam and then selling in the United States, where you're going to have tariff and all those things, you can have the plant in the United States, but the labor is in Vietnam. So you still pay the low labor cost.
Okay. Okay, that's why I read also the 5G. I mean, whether it's for the next 25 years. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
long.
there's gonna be 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever. But the thing is, from the moment you do 5G, you can do supposedly you can start doing those things. So I imagine, and healthcare is gonna be a big trend as well in that sense. So what that says is all of a sudden, especially for professionals or uh, 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 medical institutions, they will be able to grow their revenues without having to open in another place. You understand? It's like you will be able to stay in a country like the United States or some of the most advanced trained professional, for high, like neurosurgeon, heart surgeon, things like that. It takes like 20 years to train one of those guys well, before you're good, at least 15, uh, and with so much money to train those guys. So then this same guy, you make him, bill people everywhere in the world. Those type of medical devices are gonna be big, are gonna be big.
Okay, and that's the 5G. Okay, so I need to go deeper in the.
I think it makes sense for you to go deeper. So one thing you said more educated people
Population.
who want attention. Then we said 5G, but you said something else before also, is people are more comfortable with virtual consultation.
Yeah, exactly, with virtual consultation.
That's another trend.
Yeah, I think also, for example, you have a consultation, with doctor. The doctor say, okay, David, you need those medicine for you, for the next 5 days, for example. And instead of going to the pharmacy, we say it like that, to a pharmacy, you can directly order your medicine. I mean, the stuff you need directly from the app.
Yes.
And send it to you at your home.
There's a company called Capsule.
Capsule, for example, exactly. Right. And I think that's now at the beginning. And
yes, that's the beginning. So, but we're looking at market, so we have to be careful because we're not talking about startups. No,
startups, exactly.
So we need to see, but you need to look at those trends. You're saying, okay, I'm looking at those trends and I'm seeing which company then in the market will benefit from those trends. Now, if you look at the market and none of those companies in the market will benefit at those trends, then you go to look for a startup that is going to do it. So, but it's like the first is, okay, we're looking at those trends. So that's good. So virtual prevention and 5G. What else did you see?
Also artificial intelligence, AI.
Okay, how does that apply?
Well, artificial intelligence, like with machine learning, I read something about also that they can, when you, for example, now you have on your doctor, you have, how can I say, like a documents, what disease you have, what's about you, and with artificial intelligence, the technology of AI, I need to go deeper also as well in the AI, but I think it's like it will, how can I say, change the doctor. I mean, you don't need the doctor as well, but if you go, for example, on the mobile app, you just write down, okay, I have headache today, I have this kind of pressure, and the artificial intelligence on the background will like calculate your disease that you're having, and they will tell you, okay, you need to do this, you need to drink more water, you need those kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like the machine learning on the background will actually calculate what the patients need.
Exactly. It's like to replace a doctor now, because literally there is that hypothesis that if the whole concept of machine learning is if you give data of previous action, the machine will try to learn how from the input, you get to that output, which is what a professional is. You give me certain input, I use something, which is my knowledge,
Production.
to connect the dot. And then after connecting the dot, I come to a conclusion. And I say, you have that disease, you have that disease. So it's like the idea is you train a machine to do that, and that machine will be able to replace certain things doctors do.
And like the more data you have, the better it is for this kind of treatment, for example.
Exactly. Or maybe the lowest one, or we'll have to see. I don't know how regulation will play there, because
that's also a big discussion in for technology and everything in the healthcare sector.
Yeah, because it's not, maybe the AI train is pretty good, in diagnosis and everything, but you can never make it 100%. So I still need to see how they deal with when there is a mistake. Who is responsible? Who is liable in this case? The AI cannot be liable.
That's also
you cannot sue the AI. Yeah. So I'll need to see. Okay, the institution, you can always put the institution responsible. No, but how will they deal with the human aspect of paying insurance if there is a mistake? You know what I mean?
There's the insurance companies are also a big question mark. How will they?
Yes.
Well, the people, they want to pay less as well, and then the insurance need to understand that insurance companies how to do with the technology. What kind of fees and everything. There's also a big discussion for the insurance.
You mean healthcare insurance?
Yeah, healthcare insurance, exactly.
I was talking about something else. Malpractice insurance. I was talking about malpractice insurance. So you see, when doctors make a mistake, exactly. So the insurance need to cover the doctor. So will the insurance be covering the AI,
or the company
or
behind
the institution? Yeah. So I think those things will need to. But yes, I agree. AI is gonna play a big role in. Because again, we have to remember, the reason you will use automation is to make profit go, to augment profit, because you reduce labor cost. Automation is really against labor cost. That's really what it is. You can talk all we want about the hype, AI, but in reality, let's call it automation. And what automation is trying to do is augment profit by reducing labor cost. That's it. Now, automation comes with certain benefits for the end user. Sometimes, when done well, you have better quality, because it's systematic. So you get also the same result all the time. And then there is systematic improvement, because based on data, the more it's used, the better it becomes. So the end user get that benefit. And there's also, most of the time, traceability in automation process. So you can know why this happened. Now, one thing with many of the AI techniques, most of them are black box. So that means you cannot always know why the machine made a mistake. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that.
I think like all the things at the beginning, they just need to test. That the thing is, then healthcare, it's about the people.
It's about life. But the thing is, you can never ask an AI, why did you do that?
Of course.
There's no traceability. Most of those techniques that you use, they're black box. You don't know really what made the machine decide that. You don't know.
What's the reason behind of this decision?
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know that.
Now, I can ask a human being. The human being will say, I did that for this reason, and he's lying, or even didn't know why he did it, and he's telling me an explanation. Okay, which is no different than, you could say, than talking to the AI, because the AI doesn't know. You could say the human being doesn't know. Okay. But one of the advantage of automation is usually that you can trace back why. In this case, AI will not solve that, at least from what I understand of the techniques that have been used to build those.
So do you have
machine learning?
Do you may have an idea how could they solve this?
I don't know. I'm saying those are the things you see from the AI point of view. Yeah, those are the things from question mark. But more simple task
Mm-hmm.
be automated with AI. Uh, you know,
For the healthcare. And yeah, for me, are those the four big trends for healthcare in the next 10, 15 years, for sure.
mm. So a lot of medical devices for the 5G. But I didn't hear you mention anything regarding genetics.
Yeah, I read also something about Gen, but I actually didn't understand very well um, about this part, because the thing that in the sector analysis, what I read, I read about like 5 or 6 sector analysis, and in every part they it's always positive. I mean, the health. I mean, this industry will be the best.
Welcome to Wall Street analysis.
Everything is positive. I
It's
mean,
always bullish.
it's always bullshit. I mean, you can read this. Okay, well, I just invest because I mean, if I need to invest from a point of view of a sector analysis, it's always perfect. It's always beautiful. And I also read a very quickly analysis about energy. I mean, for crude oil, everything perfect. I mean, the next 5 years they will.
Very good. That's very good that you understand that. Every time you see someone on TV and they're always talking to sell.
Exactly. So and about we can talk first about genetic that I didn't understand, to be honest. But the next question after that is how much can I trust those sector analysis? Or I
But
mean,
you shouldn't trust them. You understand? The thing is, you will only trust your own analysis.
mm-hmm,
You're
mm-hmm.
reading those things as a start so you know where to keep looking.
Okay, but how can I understand? I mean, if in those 5 sector analysis that I read, everything it's beautiful, perfect, it works, it's a bullish
Okay, but
market.
why? The thing is, they say it's beautiful. Why? They have to say why. Then
Mm-hmm,
what you do, you go and see if why is real.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
Okay?
how you do that? You go, for example, you make a search on the internet. Oh, okay.
You do whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You go to the biochemistry university in Zurich and you talk to a friend, you say, is this real? You can read a sector analysis that say 5G is going to happen next year, and in 12 months there is no more human. We're gonna use AI. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
I need to go to talk to someone that understands 5G and
mm-hmm,
ask them, can 5G really do what this thing is saying?
mm-hmm,
And then I need to talk to someone who's working on AI in healthcare and say, is this going to happen in 10 years, or is this going to happen in 8 years, or is this is true? You understand? You need to then test everything they say.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you start reading to see what people are thinking and why. Because when someone say it's gonna rain, okay, it's gonna rain. I'm selling umbrella. You know what I mean?
is is it really gonna rain? That's the
Is
question.
it gonna rain? That's the question I need to answer for myself.
Mm-hmm.
How do I
So
answer that? You understand? That's what, when you know how to answer those things well, that's when you become an investor.
so it's like all those questions, I mean all those reason because it's gonna be a bullish market I need to find for myself.
If it's true,
If it's true, of course, or not. And then when I receive the answers from the right people that can give me an answer to my question, then I can.
then you accept it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now
That's
understood.
that, that's what this is about. That's why you start with, you need to always remember, every time someone writes something, they're selling.
Mm-hmm.
You may don't understand what they're selling, but they're selling. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy. Maybe you want to buy what they're saying, but you always need to check if it's true. That's your job. Your
Okay.
job is to check.
To
And
understand.
as you keep checking what they're saying, you start seeing if it's true or not. And you start understanding at a deeper level the real trends that are going on.
Mhm.
And sometimes you will come with new trends because doing your analysis, you will see things that they didn't mention, but no, you start but this is gonna happen. You start connecting yourself, the dots, because the other analysts didn't see it. You understand?
Mhm.
But your job is that. Your job is
To check if those things that they write down are
is
true or
true.
not.
Exactly. And you need to go on your path. So if they say this is gonna happen, okay, let me talk to people who know. Let me read a book about it. Let me go to conferences where they're talking about those things so I can see how close or far they are. Who is a specialist? And then you start really learning about the sector, really going deep into the sector.
But how much time do you need then to do stuff? I mean, if you read 5 sector analysis, and we can say that every sector analysis has at least 50
Let me ask you a
pages.
question. Let
Yeah.
me ask you a question. I'm going to prepare a fight between you and Mike Tyson. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You decide when to fight him. How much time do you need?
I should fight. Well, that's a must because actually I would like not to fight him. But if
you have to fight.
I have to. Oh
But
my
you
god!
decide when.
So imagine that Mike Tyson trained himself like for more than 25 years. So at least 25 years. Yeah, and I know, but I understood what you mean. I understood what you mean.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say here is the big advantage about investing, you don't need to invest if you're not ready. Because why do you invest? To make more money.
Yeah, but if you miss the point, that's then.
What point?
I mean, for
What point?
example, if it, I'm doing the sector analysis right now, and
Yeah.
I really need like 1 year to understand the sector. For example.
Okay. Yes.
But if it 1 year,
Yes.
it's not the same price anymore. Like for
So
next.
you were not ready. Or you would like to be lucky. Just lucky.
No, I prefer to be ready because
Okay.
instead of lucky. But the thing is, then when if I missed a point in 1 year, so I need to do then another sector analysis from another industry, or I mean, you know what I
I
mean? It's like,
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but that's the thing about life is like when I'm saying you're gonna fight Mike Tyson,
mm-hmm.
are you just going on the ring or are you gonna get ready?
I need to get ready.
Okay. Now, if Mike Tyson say, you know what, after a year I don't want to fight you anymore, was it better that you got in the ring first, even if you were not ready?
Of course, I mean, of
No,
course, no, of course, man, of
it's better
course,
that he's. You understand?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the point I'm making is you don't need. So remember, you're investing to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing to make money is not to lose money. While you're making analysis, you're not losing money. Okay.
I'm just getting information. Exactly. I'm just reading.
At least you're not losing money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you finish your analysis, if you did your analysis well, even if it took you 1 year or 2 years, certain things I've worked on for 7 years before understanding what to do. But that's why I'm always telling you, you need to think big, no? But the thing is, after you make that analysis for 1 year, you will look and you'll see, because of my analysis, this is what I need to do. I either need to buy or you need to short.
Okay. Well, okay. I know what you mean. I have also like a possibility.
And then you will say, based on my analysis, this is what I want to do. I want to be in the sector or I want to be out of the sector after your analysis, because you can make an analysis and the analysis tells you don't go.
But let's assume I'm doing the sector analysis for healthcare, and
Yes.
next year, exactly in 1 year, I assume, okay, that's really a bullish market. I have
Yes.
all the answer to my question from this
Yes.
sector analysis.
Yes.
But right now, in the technical point of view, it's a
Yes.
bearish market. So what should I do? Wait or go short and then go buy, or
You will do whatever you want, because the thing is, you will have more knowledge. You'll be smarter than you are right now, because the thing is going to happen is when you're doing a sector analysis, you're understanding what trend are going to explain return. So you'll be able to see, because you understand the trends, you will be able to see which company, when you go to the company analysis, which company are going to lose and which company are going to win, because you understand the trends. When you see those trends, not everybody's going to make money on those trends. You understand? When you have something like virtual doctor, some company are going to do well, but some company are going to lose because the virtual doctor has become successful. Someone is going to lose when AI is successful in the healthcare. Who are those companies that are going to lose? You can always short them.
So you have always the possibility to make money.
Yes. If you have the
knowledge, if you understand why,
then you'll say, this is the trend, this is the counter trend. Those guys are going to win, those guys are going to lose. And then you go into the company analysis and you say, those companies that are going to win, okay, it's worth $100. Then you will do your own analysis and you say, based on the size I think this is going to be, this company is going to be $1,000. Now, when you started your analysis, the company was $10. But now that you finish your analysis after 1 year, the company is $100. But your analysis tells you the company is going to be $1,000. What do? You still buy.
Of course. Because after the sector analysis, you need to do the fundamental analysis of an index of a company.
Of the companies. You need to go at the company level to see, okay, these are the companies that are going to win. These are the companies that are going to lose.
And then with the technical analysis, you can understand when to go in or when to wait or when to short.
Exactly. This is more at the tactical level. But once you understand the trends, your brain will, the way you will look at things is totally different. You don't care what the market will be doing, because of what you know. When you look at the market, based on the market you have, you will know what is your best possibility.
Is that possible? And please tell me if I'm wrong, that not in all sector analysis are trends inside. Sometimes you really need to go maybe on Google and just write down trends for healthcare in the next 10 years. Because I have, for example, I read 3 sector analyses and there was written about, AI, virtual doctor, and other sector analysis that were just written about the number, about the disease, but not exactly about the trends. Is that right? That not in all sector analysis you have the trends inside written?
You are looking for trends. You want to see, you understand? Yes. Just because someone say AI is a trend that's going to be impactful for healthcare, you have to believe it.
You need to check if that's true or not.
You need to check if it's true or not. You understand? It's like when you read those things, you're not reading to learn. You're reading to see what to check. You're reading to see how to start. You need to, read, talk to people, and then you will have your own map. You will start seeing your own trends. Those are the trends you need to believe.
Okay.
You understand? Well, it's about what do you believe?
At least now I know what my next step is. And my next step is to check all the things that I read, and I will read if they are true or not.
Talk to real people.
Okay.
You understand? You talk to real people. You talk to real businesses. You say, I'm seeing this. What do you think? Is it true?
Yes, because that's exactly the point. I read everything. I mean, it sounds like everything beautiful. For all
Of
sides, I
course.
mean, AI, virtual doctor, education on people, new
How
generation,
real
and
is this? How real
exactly.
is it?
I mean, because at least if I mean, if in all those sector analysis, if everything written very beautiful, I mean, then we are everyone is in the bullish market. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But it's not like that.
It's not like that. At
And
least, that's why when you do the macro first,
mhm,
from the macro, it gives you an idea of where we are in the money cycle. Okay? So macro gives you an idea of where you are in the money cycle. And it looks like the where we are in the money cycle now is probably at the end of the money cycle. No? Now it's not 100% sure because maybe this is just the start of a real bull that will last for the next 10 years. But you say, you know what? But even if it's the bull market that's left for the next 10 years, you always have 20% correction every 2 or 3 years. You
that
understand?
it goes down exactly.
And if you're doing your market analysis well, you're doing your sector analysis well, those times for you will be buying opportunities.
When to invest
Because you exactly because you made your analysis. So you will know when to get in, when those because you will know what you're waiting for. You understand? When your analysis is great, you always have opportunities all the time.
So my next step right now, what I understood is to first of all read again, very careful, go deep inside in those sector analysis, and after that, checking all those trends that they wrote down if they are true or not. If they're
Yeah,
really
it's
true.
like if you say, William, look, I'm looking at healthcare and I think it's a great idea. Or you may say, I'm looking at healthcare, I think all the companies in the stock market are going down because the real companies that are gonna win, they're still startups. You understand? They're not in the market because in the market you have the winners of the past.
Mhm.
So maybe you say, no, we need to be shorting healthcare right now in the market because the real companies that are gonna make the big trends,
Are
they're not in the
startups.
market.
They are not in the market.
Okay?
And those who are in the market are not ready or they don't have the technologies
The
right now to create the
trend.
trends
There
to
you
create.
go.
Okay.
Because when you do the sector analysis, you're not looking at companies yet. You're just understanding what's going to redefine who the winners look like. Then you will look in the market to see if you find any of those winners based on your trends. Now, if all the companies in the market are not on those trends, they're going to lose.
Mhm.
So you need to short the market and
Okay.
look for some startup to invest in.
What
That are,
if?
okay?
Okay. Okay.
But I
Now.
don't think that's going to happen because I know there's a bunch of small companies
Mhm.
also
Already
in,
in the market.
yeah,
For example, Roche from Switzerland is very great in biotechnology. It's very
yes.
good, and
But that's a big company.
that's a big company. That's not a
But what
startup.
you're saying is even if it's big, they're really investing in those new trends.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
any big company that is not investing in those new trends, they will be losing.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that's your conclusion. You understand? You have to come to that conclusion.
And you will never know if he's right 100% at the end, right?
No, but there are ways to solve that.
Hmm. Hmm.
There are ways to solve that. But the thing is, that's why it's so complicated when you see people today just go and invest because someone told them.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look on YouTube, for example, Rene, nowadays since the pandemic, I mean, everyone is investing. Everyone is
Yeah,
investing.
yeah.
Day trading. I mean, they are always winning, but that's not true. That's not true. I mean,
But they don't know why they're winning.
exactly. I mean, it's only lucky, and the question is then for how long are you going to be lucky?
When do you know? If those guys, while they're training, they learn how to get out, that's good.
Hmm.
But don't worry about that.
No, no, no. But my worry right now is to really understand how to
Understand.
do the top-down analysis from A to B. You know, as good as possible, because for example, what for me was very difficult to find out a sector analysis in healthcare, because in healthcare you have actually other sector like biotechnology, pharma, I don't know the name again, pharma.
But all that is within healthcare.
Exactly, and
those are the subsectors. You need to look at all of them.
Okay, all of them.
All of them, because that's healthcare. Pharmaceutical companies, biotech, medical devices, insurance.
Hospitalization.
That's what healthcare is.
The same with energy, with crude oil.
That's something different. When you say, okay, natural resources. Okay, natural resources, you have energy, you have metals, you have food, the grains, you have in metals, you have industrial metals, precious metals. And then within each one of them, for example, even when you go to the metals, there are the miners, the refinery, there's the dealers. All that. That's what sector means. You really understand the whole thing.
Okay.
And it takes time to build that framework.
Yeah, absolutely. I just now read about the overview of a sector, healthcare, and of course in those sectors they're written about biotechnology, but just not very, very specific. You need then to find
to go yourself specific,
deeper. Okay.
But the thing is, what you do usually is you go to those that are easier for you to understand.
In my case, biotechnology, for example.
You like it's easy?
For what I read, it sounds easier to me, that they use drugs, but biological drugs, and sounds easier for me.
That's the thing. You really need to go. So you go to healthcare, you study everything. You understand each one of them to the detail. And then you know which one you feel more comfortable or which one excites you more. Okay. And then you go deeper there. But at the beginning, you need to understand how all the subsectors interact with each other. Because when I have a patient, okay, there is the drug, there is the device to cut him, then he needs the insurance. There's a lot of things. You need to understand how they interact together. That is a sector analysis, is understanding all the different supply chain. The supply chain analysis shows you all that, the interaction of the different groups. You need to understand how the system works. Before you even understand trends,
you need to understand the system, how
it works, how they interact, the different pieces. That's also when you understand healthcare.
Also, the value chain is very important.
Yes.
From the
go from this to there to there.
Materials, and then
there you go.
The production, the outbound, the service, and everything.
Now, very few people do those things, but the few who do it well, they win.
Yeah, I need to understand also like the combination between sector analysis, that for example you have some models to do a sector analysis or industry analysis, and then combining with the value chain. I need to understand what those two things are telling me. I need to understand this part. Well, that's good. After this talk, at least I know what my next steps are.
Yeah,
that's
you're starting.
Yeah,
it's good. And be patient, because you don't need to get on the ring before you're ready.
Because Mike Tyson will beat my ass off. That's so I don't want. At least I wanted to defend myself a little bit.
There you go.
I know, and there you go. And that's
because the point is, when do I want to fight Mike Tyson? If you ask me,
when do you want to fight Mike Tyson?
When he cannot hit me back. So I'll study.
That's a good answer.
You understand? And that's the advantage you have in investing.
Because you know his technique when he moves.
Or when, for example, something happened to him, he can't move. then I want to fight him. Because in investing, you can wait for those moments.
You have always a possibility in investing.
You can wait. You understand?
Okay.
You don't need to go. That's the advantage. I can wait. When do I want to fight Mike Tyson? Well, I know he went to a party.
And he was drunk, and the next day he
Completely
could move.
drunk. That's when I say I'm in.
Because I know he does. Yeah.
I have better chance on my favor. That's the advantage of investing. You choose when. You don't have to.
I can choose when.
You choose when,
A moment.
and you choose when the odds are in your favor. You understand? That's why you need to make your analysis.
Okay. And just last question. Let's assume I want to invest in an index, you know? Do I need also to do a fundamental analysis after I did the sector analysis and I checked everything, I understood what's
At least you need to know, because what happened with those index, you need to know what company are in them. You understand?
For a beginner like me, you know, let's assume I did the macroeconomic point of view, the sector analysis. I spent 1 year, 6 months, 3 months. I understood everything. I know I know the answer. I know what's true, what's false. Then what would you do as a beginner?
It will be very simple. If you can do all the things you just told me, you will find that answer yourself. If you really understand the sector and who's gonna win, you will know what ETF has the winners in it.
Because maybe if you understand the trends and you know that those trends are not existing right now because only startups left, then I can say, okay, well, I don't invest in an index or a companies, but I invest in a startup because I know they have the business model right now, or I have the products already created for those trends. For example,
that they're going, for example, which I believe will not completely be true, because I know there are small companies in the market right now that are actually working on those.
Okay.
But the thing is, you need to know those trends. And if those companies, there's no ETF for them, you will have to invest in them yourself.
Okay. And how do you then understand which companies have those products and which not? I mean, you know the trends.
You know the trends.
And you then just do like a search on the internet, which companies are working on that? Or, I mean, how do you find those companies out?
The way you do that is you do a search, but usually what you do is each company needs to tell you what sector they're in. So maybe you have, in the healthcare industry, you have, let's just say you have 300 companies in the stock market, or maybe 500. Okay. Or maybe globally you have 1,000. I don't think you do. I think that's too much, but let's just say you have 1,000. Based on that 1,000, you can read all their annual report. The annual report. Because in the annual report, they say how much money they made, where they're investing, and why they're gonna make money.
Okay.
So you will read the annual report very fast, and then based on the first one you read, so usually what you will do a search. Do you want to invest in companies that are growing 30% every year? So you do a search, healthcare going 30% every year. And from 1,000, maybe you get to 100. And those 100, you read all the reports. What are they doing? Why are they growing so fast?
Okay. That's how you choose. Okay.
Or you say, I want to look at healthcare that have been investing at least 30% of their profit for the last 5 years. Usually someone doing that is because it's someone that's taking advantage of a growth opportunity. Maybe they don't have revenue growth yet, but they've been investing in something
that they
know So you say, okay, based on that, you do the search, and you from 1,000, those are the 50 companies, and you read those 50, and you start understanding. So you start approaching based on that, because you'll be looking for growth. You know, the kind of analysis you're doing is for growth. It's not just for stable profit paying dividend. So you will get on the table and you will ask question based on growth. You know,
growth company, not already mature company. That
exactly. So you'll be looking which companies are at least spending 1/3 of their profit or 1/3 of the free cash flow before
in
profit.
the research and development.
Exactly. And those are the companies you look at. You say which company has been growing their revenue at least 30% for the last 3 years. Those are the companies you look at. Which, you understand, you start asking growth questions.
Growth question. Okay.
And then you read their paper, you read their
annual report.
Their annual report. You understand what they're saying, you know, and then you make your own questioning about, can I trust the report? Is the report true? And then you call the CEO, you get on the phone call when they're doing their call to explain the report. You get there, you ask questions.
Can you do that?
Of course you can. People don't do that because they don't know they can. But this is public. They have to do it.
Wow.
Of course. I mean, you're going to put your money on something. You better really know. You know, Warren Buffett used to take the train back then and go to those businesses and talk to the CEO to ask questions about. You visit the plant, you see the people, you see they have to. They have to, because the moment you're a public company, you need to be transparent about your information, because otherwise it's fraud. You cannot put something in writing and then when I check it's a lie.
So they need to explain me why. I mean,
yeah.
The whole. Oh my God. Okay.
If you go, maybe you don't talk to the CEO.
Of course, but I mean to the department.
Buffett always asked for the CEO, and many times he did talk to the CEO. And you know, one of the questions he usually asks when he's analyzing a company, he asks you, and then he asks the CEOs, which company in your sector you like.
Oh my God. For example, I mean, now he's not the CEO anymore, Tijan. But I can ask him, which bank do you like in your sector?
Maybe. You know what I mean? If you get a chance. Because what I'm trying to tell you, you're a detective.
You need to know every detail as possible.
You need to know.
But I mean, what's like, how can I say, like the outcome of Warren Buffett asking this question?
Because he's asking someone who knows best about the sector, which is a CEO in the sector. Okay. You understand? He can give you an angle or something you didn't think about, something you didn't think of. Because you're not yet, you're learning about the sector. So you need to ask the people who know the most about the sector what they think. And those people are not on Wall Street, which are the one writing those analyses you're reading. The people who know about the sector are working in it.
And they understand, and they are much, much better than you.
Yeah, and much, much better than any analysis you can read on Wall Street.
Did you understand tonight what a day trading is and what a long-term investment could be?
Yeah, more than long-term investment is, do you understand what it takes to win?
Oh my God. That's why Cristiano Ronaldo trains every day, even after the training at home.
Exactly. This is, you become a professional, you understand? It's like, this is your life. This is how you're going to make your money. And like I tell you, there's no other place where you choose when to get in.
You have only this possibility in investing in the economy.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, bro.
Bro, I need to write down all the things because it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can look at this again and again.
Can I do? My friend, thank you very much, brother. Take care.
Okay, bye.